Hello, everybody. I'm Peter from Cardboard Alchemy. It's good to see you today. Wait, is it? Hold on. Is it something I said? There's something wrong with the broadcast. Oh, I know. Okay, this is the intro. Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare. No, that's not it. Well, something's wrong with this whole thing. Hold on one second. Technical difficulties. One moment. One moment. All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Halloween. It's Peter Vaughan, Cardboard Alchemy. Thank you for joining me on this Friday, or whatever Friday you decide to watch this. That'll be very weird because it won't at all compute with Halloween. Anyway, it's good to see everybody. I'm back from Germany. We just went to Essen, one of the biggest game shows in the land, and we're going to talk about that. And where's Jonathan? That's great. Yes, it's the beginning of the D&D movie. So anyway, we went to Essen. We're going to talk about games at Essen. We're going to talk about duels. Flamecraft Duels is delivering all over the world right now. And we're also going to talk about what games you're playing this weekend, what potentially spooky games you're playing this weekend. I don't have Rosie, our comms manager, with us because it is Halloween and she's in the UK, so it's nighttime over there, and I'm sure she's at some fun party dressed up as a frog. You know, pigeons are in, Rosie, not frogs. All right, that's what we're saying. Anyway, so welcome. It's good to see you, everybody. It's funny because people are talking about the owl cats in the background. Actually, what we're calling that is a cowl, a creature that's found in Flamebound, the sequel that's coming up. But we'll have a lot more to talk about Flamebound another time. So we'll talk today about Flamecraft duels. Cosmic Frog is in next AE expansion features a Pigeon Raider. No, but my son had a pigeon costume, so I decided to bring it on for today's show. Anyway, so we have lots of fun things to talk about. We'll start with Essen, which I mentioned. Essen is, what's actually called the Spiel. The Spiel is the biggest game fair out there where thousands and thousands and thousands of new board games are released. In fact, some people go to Spiel to buy thousands of board games. They save up all year to go there and get their entire budget's worth of games for the year, and they wait for that moment. So it's a big show. We have gone before. I've been there many times for different publishers, but Cardboard Alchemy has joined. Last year we went to go with Lucky Duck at their booth. This year, Game Toppers invited us to be at their booth because we mostly had meetings and like connections to do with different manufacturers and different fulfillment places and content creators. So it was a small team of us that went. Here is a picture at the Game Toppers booth of the four of us that went from Cardboard Alchemy. It was, you'll see Luke Laurie there. He's the only one in actual Andromeda's Edge gear because he was at the table all day showing Andromeda's Edge. We've got Rosie there behind him and Nicole Cutler and myself. That was our little spot at the show. We had a very cool Andromeda's Edge banner that Berkey from Game Toppers printed for us, and we had this little corner of the show. And I will get some questions as we go because Axel's asking what was the best game I got to see. And it's interesting because it was mostly a working show for me, so I didn't get to do my usual shopping the way that I wanted to, but I did still pull 16 games. I still got 16 games, brought them home. Hello, how's it going, Ellie? It's good to see you. So this is our team. I'll show another picture of our team because in Essen, right at the hall, the convention hall, is an obelisk, which Luke and I found last year, walked by it every day. So we took a picture of the team at the obelisk. We actually, this is the before the show while we're all still very rested and ready to go to the show. So that was fun. And I also have a picture of, this is a picture of Berkey in the hat. You can see the game toppers and where that fun logo comes from. Berkey is such an amazing human. And if he sees the stream, I hope he knows how thankful we are to be at his booth. And he also makes the game toppers and the Andromeda's Edge mat. And here he's in a picture with Yoma from Fantasia and Luke Laurie, and they're just posing because we had a lot of fun people visit the Andromeda's Edge booth, our section of home there. So we also have a picture of Luke at, we also went to go visit Lucky Duck. So Luke is here at the Lucky Duck booth, demoing, showing Andromeda's Edge, signing copies. This is Luke's second Essen. It was Nicole's second Essen, Rosie's third, my sixth. So we had a fun time exploring the show. But I'm most happy, I think, to see Luke in his element at this show, because it is a designer show where if you meet a game designer, and in my hall, I got a picture, I have a signed copy of, a Wild Venture from the artist and the designer. And it's a very big deal to run into designers, famous designers. Rosie has a story about how she was playing with the doctor, Reiner Knizia. And if you meet a designer there, that most of the designers that roam the halls are also extremely humble and are loving the business they're in. And Luke is no exception. So it's great to see people find Luke in the wild and ask him for a signature. I love that part of it, where, there's certainly some, I'll see signings in America, but it's not quite as the auteur, the fact that, like, you've created this game is so much bigger in Europe. And so it's fun to meet people who, and it's also fun to just meet people who love Flamecraft. And we ran into so many fans of Flamecraft and Critter Kitchen. I have more fun pictures. There's actually, we had Flamecraft Duels there, but it wasn't the focus because Flamecraft Duels is coming out still, right? But we managed to get a copy to Rado and Tom at the Dice Tower, and Rosie took the game around and played with people. Here's a picture of Rosie playing with Crystal at Asmodee, part of the team that makes some great games over there, including Cozy Stickerville. So that's a game that Rosie's been talking about for a long time. But Crystal loved duels, and they were playing in the Asmodee Lounge, I heard, while people were gathered around to see this game. I also have to compliment Crystal on her nail game, because she has the perfect Potion Dragon purple for the tokens. It's like it's planned almost that she was gonna play it. We had it's funny because Ellie's saying, "Ooh, Asmodee." We actually had amazing meetings with Asmodee because they're one of our partners. They actually publish Critter Kitchen in German, Critter Kitchen in Portuguese. They published Flamecraft in German, Portuguese, Korean, several. Asmodee's bigger and bigger and bigger. So we had meetings with different branches of Asmodee talking about Flamecraft Duels and talking about our other products with them. There were more friends there. There was also, we ran into Libby and Julian, who have covered Flamecraft Duels. Here at Libby we gifted her a plant dragon for her birthday because we went out and celebrated Libby. She was helping at the Paverson Games booth, Distilled, and they were both helping over there. And that was a lot of work because Luthier was making its debut, and there was a lot going on over there. So there's so many people having an amazing show. If Luke ever came on this program and tell you his Essen, he had an amazing Essen. I don't have a picture of it, but he's got a game release that was announced by Fantasia, a very, very big game. It was a big deal. And so there was a lot of things going on at Essen. And there was one question earlier about what games did I get. I got a whole bunch of them. So did Rosie. Let's see if I can find Rosie's haul, because it's more impressive than mine. Let's see if I can. Let's get it up here. Is this gonna work? There we go. Look at what Rosie came back with from Essen. Look at that. Now I have some of those. I had but I had different ones. I got a Wild Venture also, and I did get that the Cozy game, Cozy Days. That's hers. Now this is, you got to remember, she's a content creator, so a lot of these things are gifted. But she also picked up some for Doug and herself, and that's what she came she came back with. Now I got like a fraction of this because, of course, as Ellie says, how do you even get that on a plane? I brought home. I wish I had a picture of mine, but I brought home about 16. But I mostly focused on small ones. And one of the ones I got was Tornado Splash. I went to the game ArcLight, and they're the company in Japan that puts on a Japanese game fair, a toy fair, game day. And they had 3 very hot titles that I had to wait in line for. And the first day, I didn't make it. I was like 40th in line, and they only had 37. So I like went the next day. And Tornado Splash, by the way, I got to play it last night. It is it's this game where you have these cute racers and you pick a meeple, and then you can insert the meeple into the racer, and you're playing these cards ahead of you to create your pathway, and then leave your splash, your zone, and you could cross other people's paths and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Oh, was that a signed companion card? Yes, there are signed companion cards now. I don't know if I had mentioned that actually. But we did have at Gen Con, so I've been working on this for years. I'll actually I'll come back here. I've been actually working on this for years. The original game Flamecraft had 7 companions, right? And I had to send cards to Singapore, and then cards to Peru, and then cards to Colombia, and then cards to Los Angeles to get everybody to sign the 7. And I have a couple of those copies. We gave them out for the duels tournaments at Gen Con, and I have a couple left. And Rosie had not gotten one yet, so I gave one to Rosie. The funny thing about it is, it has taken me years to get these cards signed, where I'm trying to make a couple sets that we could put in a newsletter someday for prizes, and also have for a couple special occasions. And now we have more companions, because Dragons and Dragons just came out, and now we have another 7. I think it's another 7 companions, 6 or 7. Now I got to go get all those signed. So it's a process. But like I said, I do cherish sometimes the design copies of things. So I did get, like I said, a Wild Venture signed, but I also have a couple games in my collection that have been signed. I have A Place for All My Books signed by Alex Cutler. I have Asking for Troubles signed by Chris Strain. I have Imperial Settlers signed by Ignacy Treswick. I have Tate Wu signed Art Deco. I have a lot of really fun ones that might even be rare copies. So anyway, it was a show. It was a thing. If anybody wants to talk more about Essen, what other hot games there were, because I was in the Recall line for a while as well. It's a big Euro that's coming, and I didn't get one, but I'm actually bringing home Will Brown's copy of Recall, and so I'm going to play it and make sure it's good before I hand it to him. Anyway, but if you have any other questions about Essen, happy to answer them. We're also happy to talk about duels. We're happy to talk about the delivery of duels. I have another thing that I want to talk about, which is recently we mentioned that if you write a letter to Cardboard Alchemy, we have these dragon ribbons that we've been giving out since Gen Con, where you could actually wear a ribbon that says plant dragon or meat dragon, bread dragon, all the types. And I've invited people to write into Cardboard Alchemy if you want to get a set of ribbons. Writing into Cardboard Alchemy is not the fastest communication, but I feel like we've done it before. And if I simplify my answers back, I think we can get through some more rounds. So if you want to send us a letter, postcard, or anything, we love to get mail. So I have the first bit of mail that I'm going to read. Someone wrote in to get a ribbon, and I'm going to read this letter. Caitlin asked for bread and potion dragon ribbons. So I'm going to send that to Caitlin so that at the next convention, they could be a bread and potion dragon. Hello, I'm really excited to send mail to someone and put my stickers to good use. Caitlin also included some stickers, so thank you for that. I'm so excited to show off my dragon ribbons at conventions. I just got Critter Kitchen after playing it at Dice Tower East, and I've loved playing the solo mode since. So there's a shout out to Chris Strain, Peter Hayward, and Alex Cutler for the solo mode. Best wishes, Caitlin, and thank you for writing in. We we will welcome any mail. I do want to say thank you to everyone who's written in before, because it's so much more fun not to get taxes or other things in the mail at Cardboard Alchemy. And in exchange, I'm happy to send you something. And I know a lot of fans out there have sent me some amazing things, stories, invitations to weddings, snacks, and other things, stickers and drawings, and personal stories, which are the best, most amazing, poems, narratives, all sorts of fun things. I got God, there were so many fun ones. I'll have to do another stream where we go over some of the classics, because I have a pin board where we've put up all these different things, because I like to come into work and get inspired to make more games for the people who want to play the games. Does it have to go to the UK, or did we figure out something, getting something to Rosie? So we're not going to send to Rosie. We're going to send to Cardboard Alchemy's home, yeah, in our HQ in the US, where I will be getting all the letters. And now Rosie may post some for Europe and UK if she wants to help me out as I respond to letters, because who knows, we might have a few of them. But we are sending them all to Cardboard Alchemy headquarters. And again, it's just for fun if anyone wants to do that. If you want to get a ribbon another way, you will find us at a show, because we're going to bring them around to every show from now on, including PAX U. PAX Unplugged is our next show, and we've been doing so much prep for it. I don't know that I can get into it just yet, but I will. We can show some things that we're building a set for PAX U. Really exciting stuff that we're doing for that show, and I can't wait to share it. Let's go over some other questions that we have. Any timeline for the Critter Kitchen expansion being added to the Cardboard Alchemy shop? Why, yes, I can tell you how that's going to work. We have just come up with some Critter Kitchen bonus meeples, which is a tortoise and a hare. That is the last two meeples, if you have the deluxe edition, that fit in the tray. And they're really fun because it's they actually work together in a fun way. The hare wants to is rewarded for all the level 2, the tier 2, size 2 creatures that were at the thing, but also goes last. And then Terry, the tortoise, goes first in front of everybody in line, because of course that's what happens when the tortoise makes it to the end of the race. We are going to have those at PAX U for the first time. And then what we're going to do, hopefully right after that, is put up a pre-order for all of the items that are recent promos and backer goodies from the campaign. And we're going to put up that pre-order first before the rest of the store goes online. And the reason for that is because the store, well, there's a couple things going on in general. I'll give you some sneak peeks to this. We are actually going to move all of our product from one warehouse to another warehouse. And in doing that, we're going to, and we're also delivering duels right now. So it's all the stuff going on. And we're also going to PAX. So we've got inventory moving in like 3 different ways. So what we're going to do is some things are going to go to PAX. Some things are going to be just shipping to backers while we're at PAX and ahead of PAX. Like we're shipping very soon. And then we're going to have a sale on everything else that's not part of this Kickstarter delivery. So everything else in the store is going on sale. That means Critter Kitchen oven mitts, if you didn't get some of those, or cookie cutters, or if you've been saving up for Critter Kitchen Deluxe, or if you want to get Andromeda's Edge items, or Flamecraft bookmarks, or whatever, anything that's not part of the recent delivery, we will have in the store. And then for all the other new items and backer related items, we know that what people are going to ask next is, how do I get like a plant dragon? Because I did it back and I want a plant dragon, or I want the Critter Kitchen meeples that are brand new. So we're going to make a pre-order for those. Those are not going to deliver until the new year, but we'll put that up in the holidays so that you can either decide if you want to get into the sale items or into the pre-order items. This will be a big fall for us with all sorts of different moving parts. So when someone says, Corkleton, thank you. You seem to be the king of making work for yourself. Yes, we don't, you know, we're not, unless we're, unless I need to go to a therapist and say I'm overworked, we're not doing it correctly. um, so we're just having fun here, and I'm so excited by the sale because it'll be like the chance to get things before Christmas, and also the pre-order will be a chance for people who find out what's in the Iron Dragon plush or missed duels to get in on this awesome stuff. So lots of moving parts, but we'll be explaining all this in November, including what's else is revealing at PAX, because we have a brand new pin that's going there, and we have actually a couple new pins that were going there, and we have a lot of fun things to talk about with PAX. I don't know what I did, but no, this is fun. This is the way. This is I think it's amusing, however, that we seem to be making more plush than I thought at a board game company. But we're still making games also. I'm so excited by duels. The people who saw it at Essen are pumped and excited, as am I, as the whole team is. So we're very excited for what happens when that gets out there, because the gameplay is fantastic. The production is fantastic. It's a compact game that fits on a tray table in an airplane. Do we have a witty name for our sale? No, we're looking for one. We need a good name for the sale. I told Rosie that what we need to do is find a character that represents the sale and a character that represents the pre-order, so that when we do social media, it can be like, we need a punny, fun sale, and then we need a fun, get the new stuff. Oh, thank you. By the way, thank you so much for coming to Essen. I basically played a game with Rosie and gave us little gifts. There was last year we got a gift of a mouse character from Critter Kitchen, a mouse chef. And this year we got the mouse's little cheese that goes with it, and then the cheese turns into a bag. So it's a useful, functional. It's a plush with functionality. So thank you for that. It's so fun to see. I love the fact that in the Facebook groups, the Discord groups, we get to see DIY, we get to see fan creations, we get to see drawings. I just saw a whole bunch of characters from Flamecraft as they were Pokemon in our fan group on Discord. It's awesome to have such a great group of people, community. So thank you for everybody. Get the new stuff. Get the new stuff sale. Yeah, well, we'll workshop it. I appreciate the ideas. And I don't have Rosie today, so forgive me if I miss questions, but if anybody has any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll also love to hear what spooky games you're playing this weekend, if you're playing anything thematic for Halloween, or for the fact that it's just getting chilly and cold and it's time to stay indoors and play games. I'd like to hear what you're playing. And I'll go over other questions that we get. Anything about the shows or anything about our games. Now, Duels has recently been delivering to Australia and New Zealand. I believe everybody in Australia and New Zealand that backed has gotten their copies. That's amazing. That's like easily 1,000 people. And I know Canada just started. I saw confirmed sightings in our Discord of people playing, having received it in Canada. So I believe those will go fast. And then we've got some, I know that Asia is just starting, and I know that the USA is about to go, and so is the Europe and UK copies. It's fantastic. There's so much going on. And we were planning on Flamecraft Duel starting in December, so we are ahead of schedule, which is amazing. Not nearly enough people are talking about Dragons and Dragons. I agree with you on that one. And I will tell you that I think Dragons and Dragons is going to be a sleeper hit, because we were talking to some of our partners and they were like, well, yeah, Flamecraft's a little bit light, and this adds all these different modules to it. And they didn't even know, because, it was under the radar on the Kickstarter, because the Kickstarter was mostly about duels, but we had fun taking every promo idea. Well, first of all, we published every promo ever made as Dragons of the Past. And then we took all these other promo ideas, like taking the high dragons from duels and a new way to play the park and new ways to do upgrades and new companions and new dragons and new shops. All of that goes into Dragons and Dragons, and I think it blows the game wide open. I think Flamecraft now has the expansion it was always waiting for, that everyone's going to flip out. I think stores getting it next year. I think everyone's just going to be like, what? There's an expansion to Flamecraft? It's not widely known yet. So do share out there in board game groups that it's coming. Now, we got some people asking about Potion Con. How are the second Potion Con plans coming along? Well, and what Axel's referring to here is that in 2023, Cardboard Alchemy decided to host an online convention called Potion Con, which was a lot of fun. We had special guest content creators. We had Sandara did a live stream. We had Kim Joy did a baking. It was amazing, a baking segment. So it was fantastic. And thanks for everybody who joined it. We had a game show. We did so many fun things. I'm not going to say that it wore the team out, but we did we did push hard because that's the only way we know how to go here at Cardboard Alchemy. And since then, we've been trying to figure out what our game plan is for shows in general, because we do really love an online show and we love our Discord. So I wouldn't rule it out for coming back and love to do it. But now we've started to like say we need to represent our games at shows like PAX and like UK Games Expo. So that puts another layer of work on the whole team. I'm not going to lie. I have spent, in addition to getting Genesis ready for print and duels and then orienting the team, we have a new member starting next week. In addition to all the different departments that are cooking right now on Whisperwood, and which is our game coming next year, and Flamebound, which is our game coming after that. We have all these things going on, and throwing shows in the mix is something that it's brand new for us. So every day over the last 2 months, I've been working on the PAX thing. I have this, like I mentioned, we're building a set and we're having a fun time and it's going to be great. So we do need to step back and go, how will we do all of these events? For example, we have a new sales division, which I'm very excited about. And so we have started to go to Gamma, which is a trade show, a business show in the industry, to talk to retailers, to talk to distributors. And that show takes half our team. So it's interesting. Oh, that's nice. We have a suggestion for the pre-order, extra seasonings. That's fun. So we want to go back to a nice digital show. I would have liked one this year when we turned 5. So I will be continuing to think about how could we do another online thing. And if we don't get a show specifically, I will say that Rosie and I have ideas to do tournaments and other game nights and fun activities. We are going to come back to our Discord and have more fun things going on. Possibly at some point we're going to need an events team for these things, because at the moment, as Crickleton said earlier, I do tend to make more work for our team. Oh, thanks for the offer too. Shows are so fun. Always happy to help if you need more support. Devil's Treasure joined us at Gen Con for demoing Andromeda's Edge. Appreciate that very much. In fact, we had another demoer who's in our Discord, Faith, who ran Critter Kitchen, and Faith is joining us for PAX U. And we had a team at Essen in 2024 that was amazing, like a really fantastic group of backers that knew Andromeda's Edge really well and helped us at our debut at that show. So I continue to be in awe and thankful for every community member that has ever joined us or helped out or taught the game to someone in Discord or answered a question on Facebook. I mean, you're all honorary alchemists. I really appreciate it. We have a Discord where people are playing BGA games. As Ellie points out, the BGA games in Discord are very active right now. So you can come on our Discord and get a game in with friends. Did I play any heavy games at Spiel? I didn't really get any game time because of the way that this show worked out. I was talking to I think Nicole on our team, who handles our localization and our sales, had 27 different meetings. I was in some of those, and then I had another bunch of meetings. Very exciting meetings. I had dinners and lunches and things where I was pinging back and forth between different people, publishers that I haven't connected to, fulfillment and manufacturing. I had so many conversations about manufacturing for Whisperwood miniatures, which I cannot get into yet, but I cannot wait to tell you what we're going to do for the Whisperwood miniatures. So unfortunately, that meant I didn't get to play games. I love to. I think let's see, what did I actually get to play at Essen? Because I did get something in there, right? Late night, couple games here and there, but not anything of big note. We'll see you later, Ellie. Thanks for joining in for the stream. Hope you have a nice Halloween today. I don't know if anyone else has got trick-or-treaters coming. I have a couple in our neighborhood. Not too many, but I'm going to be out there for them. And maybe I'll just try and get some, maybe I'll do that and see if anyone's around for some Andromeda's Edge. So yeah, I would love the show to actually be gaming time. You know what my favorite show for gaming, and I'd love to hear other people's favorite show for gaming, but Board Game Geek Con is a fantastic show to play games. That's one show where we don't usually even have a booth or anything else. It's just, can we play as many games as possible? Because their library is fantastic. They have all the hotness from Essen, first of all. I got, the SETI expansion. I got the Creature Comfort, what was it? The Castle Combos expansion, the Far Away expansion. Like I mentioned, Recall. Now that's a game I want to play. Axel's Recall. That one looks really good. But yeah, Essen is actually an interesting show because the entire floor is not really about playing games. I mean, you can sneak in a game of like, oh, I'm playing a little bit of this game, and people do. But it's mostly about buying all the games you want, and then sometimes in the late night in the hotels, people play all the games. Happy Friday. It's good to see you. One game that I got at the show that I got signed, Rosie, as I said, she met Reiner Knizia and played Two Towers with Brian Bournemule. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Brian is the designer, and Brian signed her copy and then also was kind enough to sign a copy for me. I love that trick-taking game that has been put out by Office Dog and Asmodee. I love Lord of the Rings and trick-taking, and it's such a clever design. If I meet Brian, I'm going to have to tell him that. I think it's one of the most clever games I've seen come out recently, and I'm all in for getting all three parts of the series. This is the second one they're releasing in just like a month or two. But there was some sneak things at Essen, and I have Rosie to thank for that. Oh, look at that. I'd be happy to help at UK Games Expo. All right, that's good to know. See, look at that. We already have a demo staff starting up. That's beautiful. I love it when we have, this happened to me before. I used to go to Essen and I was demoing Dwellings of Elder Vale. And I had like just myself. I was actually at a booth with Luda Creations, and they gave me a table and Dwellings, and it was right in the hall that has German customers and English customers. I don't know German, so I actually reached out to at the time, the fans of Dwellings of Eldervale, and I said, does anyone know German? Does anyone know Dutch? Can anyone like come and just join me for demos and then explain Dwellings in German? And I got a ton of takers on that. So we would show Dwellings all day. People would sit down, play games of Dwellings, and then we had really nice folks explaining in different languages what Dwellings is all about. And so I love the fact that that we've got folks that are out there that are willing to help. And Seasonal says, I only know English. That's fine, because at Gen Con, we were only talking in English, and we had, but what's really important about it though, is that it wasn't just finding someone who wanted to go to Gen Con. It was finding people who love Andromeda's Edge, or love Critter Kitchen, or love Flamecraft. And that is, to me, gold, because what does better than any kind of demo is finding a person passionate to share it with another person. That is what game stores do. That is what we do as teachers of games. Everyone who's ever taught a friend at game night and spread the love of board games, that comes from somebody having that passion and bringing that forth. Like, you're going to have a great time, and here's what we're going to do, and here's how you win or score or have fun or whatever you're doing. We had amazing help at Gen Con and at Essen last year. Oh, thank you very much for that, Evan. It's funny about this because I used to run the dev department at Breaking Games, and I had all these different games that I had to teach, and we would bring them sometime to shows. There isn't really a better teacher than the designers, so we often would bring the designers in. Something that I thought was very successful at Breaking Games, and we continue that to this day, for example, because we're going to bring Manny Vega to PAX Unplugged. What better person to share and teach you duels than Manny? And I think the only other person that was better is, like Rosie is going to take some shifts when Manny can't be there. So you've got like the two people who like absolutely could teach you a cozy board game. But also it's funny because I also learned what I don't like to do about games, which is it's so great to tell someone about a game. What doesn't feel as good is to go to, say, like a toy fair type of show and try and make someone buy a game if they're not interested. Like, I do know that that's another side of the business. I learned really quickly that's not me, because I'm not trying to push. Like, at the time I was trying to get people to play Letter Tycoon. And I love Letter Tycoon. It was a game that I published with designer Brad Brooks, who works now with me as co-founder of Cardboard Alchemy. So Brad and I love Letter Tycoon. I could tell anyone about Letter Tycoon all day long. I passionately think that game is one of the best word games ever made. I stand behind it. And if I'm talking to someone about playing Letter Tycoon, it's not even about trying to get them to buy Letter Tycoon. It's just trying to tell them how much fun Letter Tycoon is. That is I can do that all day long. I taught people games last night where I had just learned the rules. I could do it on a game where I'm just excited about the game and it's not even my game. Where I fall short is trying to like force people to buy Letter Tycoon when they didn't ask for it. I'm not like I would fail at a car salesman dealership lot. I'm telling you that right now. The hard sell, yeah. Very bad at the hard sell. I agree completely. I don't want someone to. This is the whole thing about board games, which is a gourmet product in the first place. You should only be taking it home if it's your type of game. And that goes for seriously, because there's a Critter Kitchen. It's like, I don't want to just have people take Critter Kitchen. I want you to take Critter Kitchen if the gameplay speaks to you, because we all have limited shelf space and limited time and everything else like that. Oh, look at that. This is very appreciated running demos. No sales pressure, just fun. Yeah, the thing is that Andromeda's Edge, we showed that game at Gen Con in its best light. I mean, Luke was there signing cards. All the demo team knew the game and didn't have to like check a rule book or anything else, and was just passionately like, oh, this is so cool. You can do this combo and this combo. Something about demos is really fun is sometimes letting someone take a move and then kind of explaining what they could do also. And seeing that light bulb go on people's heads. And then if that's not for you, if you play that game and you're like, that's too much. The price is not right. It's not my thing. I don't like sci-fi, whatever. That getting that full, glorious, knowledgeable, passionate teach. And then if you don't like it, that's great. But if you do like it, you have just been taught by a pro. I love the help. I taught Harmonies to two friends the other day. And now we're all playing on BGA together. It's a funny thing because I'm playing Harmonies on BGA, and I love that game. I was taught by a friend in Los Angeles who said, have you played Harmonies yet? And I said, no. And she's like, oh, I have to show you Harmonies. And then I've liked it ever since, but I'm really enjoying the BGA ones. Really quick games of it have been fun. I'm currently playing, I think, 10 to 12 games BGA at once, because a bunch of people from Discord were playing Andromeda's Edge and Harmonies and Arc Nova. and Lost Roads of Arnak. What else do I got going on there? Andromeda's Edge, I mentioned that. Because we're working on that one. We're working on that one. I met at Essen, we met with Monster Couch, who's making Flamecraft Digital. And of course, they've got, if you don't know this already and you're just tuning in, they've got an alpha coming up where everyone in the community who's on Discord can sign up and play. I don't think you have to be on Discord actually, but they have a feedback form. They have a chance to try out the game in alpha. They're going to release that November 6th through 10th. It's a very limited window because before November 6th, they're doing a bunch of code. They're getting it all ready. Then they're going to let everybody bang on it and find tons of bugs and errors and suggestions. And you can tell them like, oh, you know, in Flamecraft, this and this and this. And you can give them ideas and stuff. They won't do every one of those, but they'll listen to what the fans are saying about the game. And they'll also find all those edge cases like, oh, I was playing the other day and the AI did not have a resource cap. So they had like 17 bread. And I was like, okay, that's a bug. So they just kept taking bread and not spending it. But this is a chance to play Flamecraft, the early version from November 6th to 10th. And there's a sign up at our Discord. But I ran into them. We ran into them at Essen, and they were actually headed off to another convention. They did Essen, and then they went to PGA, this convention in Poland, in their hometown, where and this happened on Discord, where they announced that we were winning a best indie game at the Poland convention they were at. They say, bread is life. That's funny. And I will say this about digital games, you know, I love the tabletop, the experience, the tactile experience. And that is what we are making a lot of our deluxe editions for. That is part of how Duels became this travel-friendly, awesome, opens, like deluxe coins, all this fun stuff. But having things digitally, I've heard from so many people saying, I got to take a turn in Andromeda's Edge when I was otherwise occupied with my work trip or something else. I couldn't play with my friends, but I got to take a turn in this game. So digital games have such an impact for people on the go. Oh yes, Evan, we will get you in someday soon. We are actually about to launch Andromeda's Edge beta on BGA because we're getting there. It's very, very close. But anyway, that's all the digital news. That's funny because Evan also says you should make a Manny Vega design by Manny Tremblay art. Yes, we should do a Manny game. Manny knows each other. Those two know each other, and I believe Manny Tremblay has backed. It's an honor because Manny Tremblay does the art for Wonderland's War. I think is one of the most gorgeous things in the world. And I've seen Manny's art in Dice Throne. And I happen to be a huge fan of Manny Tremblay. And I found out that he is a fan of Manny Vega and backed Flamecraft Duels, possibly also the original. So we're honored. It's always fun to see the community coming around and saying, I actually ran into people at Essen. They're like, I can't wait to get my copy of Flamecraft Duels. I didn't know they backed. And I was like, oh, well, I can't wait to get it to you. That's so exciting. Ooh, also the art for 20 Strong. Nice. Go check that out. And also Manny Tremblay also has a game with Chip Theory Games. Brandon Roth did the art for that one too. Ooh, I have some Manny Tremblay autograph stuff. That is amazing. His character work is fantastic. I love that stuff. Duels digital would be dangerous. That's it. It would be, right? So someday we're going to have to do it. Prepare yourself. We'll have to get there. Because Duels digital feels like a natural thing that has to happen after we get Duels everywhere physically first, of course. So let's see. Is there any other topics that we want to go over? We didn't get any spooky game suggestions. I could give some because I have some that I like to play. I actually played a game. So last night I had people over to the studio and we were looking for something to play. We played Tornado Splash, as I mentioned. We played. I cracked open a couple of the other boxes, and we were going to play one of them. And then someone said we should play something creepy, Halloween, spooky, because tick over to Halloween. So we played Last Night on Earth, which is a game I have not played forever. One side is the zombies trying to break into, it's like a classic tropes, like where it's like the high school gym and the police station and stuff like that. And then there's like one team is the humans and the other team is the zombies. So we had 2 zombie players and 4 humans, and we were running around. In the basic scenario, you have to survive till you have to take out enough zombies before dusk, or they're going to take you all down. It was a very tense thing, and we put on fun soundtracks for that of zombies munching our brains. It was pretty fun. It reminded me that, because I don't think it's necessarily the best game ever, but sometimes it's not about that, right? It's about just having friends and the right mood and music and just gaming. It was a lot of fun. Ooh, look at this. Wonderland's War is getting, that's true. Wonderland's War is getting those duels game and expansion with the White Queen and the Caterpillar. And I will tell you, I cannot say this for certain, but I look at the pattern of Wonderland's War. It has a duels game and an expansion in the same Kickstarter. What a brilliant idea, I would say. I had to give James Hudson a laugh about that. I was like, it's a great idea because that's what we did this year. And he winked and said, yes, I love the idea as well. So I have supported that campaign, right? There are a couple other ones going on right now. My brain has missed them all right now. I think the one Rolling in Wonderland has ended, sadly. Otherwise, I would have pumped that one in last week on the stream. But that one's done by Bella's Intent. Our friends, hopefully they have a late pledge for that one. It looks really fun. There's another one. So many. What did I just back? I'm backing too many games is the answer to that question. But I will look right now to see if I can find the other one that I'm backing, or other several. What did I just back? Oh, Punch Bowl. I want to talk about Punch Bowl for a second because it's some friends of mine that make Fire Tower, and they made a game called Punch Bowl that looks really fun with big chunky pieces of fruit. And the game ships with these, I mean, this deluxe edition ships with these cups, like actual cup tumblers that you have, and that you're putting all the chalky fruit and fake ice cubes in, and you're making a good punch. That one looks really fun. And they make Fire Tower is all about the tactile experience, and it has this like really good, it's like really good vibe on the table. Oh, Cosmoctopus expansion is also on Kickstarter. I love it. The fact that all of you are with me when we do a Kickstarter anonymous meeting, all of you will be in the chairs with me. Because yes, Cosmoctopus is also out there. Catnap expansion going on a Kickstarter. I don't know that one. So many games. I've just backed the Kavango expansion. Got the base game in the first campaign and adore it. Oh, cool. I have to go check that out. Look at the animals. We got to go check that out. I've recently decided from playing Arc Nova on BGA with some members of our Discord that I love that game. I don't know why Arc Nova just really makes me happy, but it really makes me happy. And I don't even care if I win. It's just, what zoo am I making? I think in one zoo, I'm going for like all the crocodiles and alligators and all the reptiles. And I don't care if that's a winning or not. I'm excited to build the thing. But it's also the reason why I really like Arc Nova is you cannot do everything. And the BGA app is really good at telling you, you can't take that action because you don't have the right stuff. It grays stuff out for you. And I'm like, I wanted to do that, but why can't I do that? Oh, I'm out of money, or, oh, I don't have that prerequisite. And it's such a tight game. They've designed it so well that you have to do step 1 before you can do step 2, and then you're working on step 3, but you're like, what if someone takes that card and I don't get it in time, or I've got to do this one in this order because you can only take these actions in a certain way. God, that game is good. 1 hour more crowdfunding news. This is apparently your crowdfunding hour, everybody. 1 hour left to go on Elder Scrolls. Chip Theory Games crushing it. Still haven't tempted Arc Nova due to the length and weight. I should just try the plunge. Yes, I mean, the thing is about one of those. I'll tell you a really fun thing about online digital games that I think is a plus. If I'm playing a game of, I'm going to use Andromeda's Edge as an example. So I'm playing a game of Andromeda's Edge. I'm the Funganar Sporgots, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get everybody. I'm going to go fly my ships and like knock everybody out with my my special my Silinox transports. But in the heat of the moment, it's my turn and I have to launch a ship, and I'm like, I don't want to take too much time and think about all the possibilities. I want to think about if I could go here, if I could go there, if I could do that, I could pull back, I could play this card, not play this card. All that is too much because I don't want to do that to the other people at the table. I don't want to take forever. So I quickly assess and I just pick a turn. I go, you know what? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the Maximus field. I'm going to buy 2 modules. What I love about a digital game is I can, on my turn and on my time, I can sit there and go, okay, which one? Oh no, not that. Oh no, I want to do that. I want to do that. You can actually like really take your time. So to your point, Allison, about the weight and the length, I think if you play like a friendly game with no time limits and you've got the rule book online, you could be like, okay, because one of the cons of the online one is that you don't have that passionate game teacher or friend to tell you what a card does. So you do sometimes need to kind of look over the rules or think about your turn, but you have all the time to do so. And it's really, nobody can judge your AP. That's what I'm trying to say. I love that part about it. In fact, I've sat there with the Harmonies board, a game that I already like without the digital, but I love it digitally because I will be like, okay, if I'm going to put, I'm honestly thinking about taking notes where I'm going to be like, okay, this spot is going to have a rock in it. I can't get a rock right now, but I'm not going to put something else there. Whereas if I was playing that physically, I would forget that and I would grab the wrong thing and I would not have that. Already breaks my brain. Yeah, because you can't take a brown piece before you take a green piece, or you can't take a green piece before you take a brown piece. And you have to, this whole thing of like, if I take that card, will I be able to finish it before the end? That game, but digitally, I have the time to, I didn't know this, personal notes. I have to look into that. Yeah. Because I do log into an Andromeda's Edge game and I don't know what I was thinking. What was I thinking on my last turn? Why did I go here? Duels on BGA? Well, yes, we have to figure out Duels' digital plan as well. We don't know what Duels will be doing in its digital times, but we have to find it a home. We also have to find Critter Kitchen a digital home. So, Critter Kitchen needs to go somewhere. If Flamecraft Duels ever goes digital, I probably wouldn't stop playing. Well, I hear you on that one because when I flew over to Essen, it was a flight of about 12 hours. And let me tell you, I was going through all my phone games. Like, what do I got? What do I got? I played a lot of Isle of Arrows, and I also played a lot of, what was a new one I got that was pretty fun? It was Anti-Hero, where you're basically a little fun character. You're like a thief running around, building up a team of thugs and ransacking the city. I mean, things you don't get to do normally. So, it's fun to have a little video game to do that. The CA Guild needs it. Side mode. Do it on BGA. Do it on BGA. Well, the thing about BGA, which is interesting, is if a game's on BGA, it could impact the other versions of it. For example, Monster Couch, who's producing Flamecraft Digital, did not want a version on BGA at the same time, which is fair because people might say, well, I'm going to play that one instead of the Steam one. So we will see if we're putting it on BGA or if we're putting it on other platforms and who might be interested in a Flamecraft Duels. Maybe we'll make it. Did you know that Brad Brooks and I used to make apps? We used to make apps for the App Store, and well, he did more than I did, but I was going to do that. I wasn't the best at the programming part, but I did make a game or two with the Unreal Engine, and I had a lot of fun making games, and I was building towards my first game was actually not going to be a card game. It was going to be an iOS app. Because I used to play games with people. I've told the story, I'm sure, but what happened is that we would take our turns. And I'm sure everyone who plays with me on BGA has felt this. If you've played with me on BGA and you're waiting for me to take my turn, I am so sorry because I have a lot of things going on. But there'd be a buddy of mine who would be playing and be like, "Oh, I'm going on a trip to Florida for a week, so I can't take my turn at all." That's devastating. So my first game that I was developing, which is What the Food, the entire concept for the game was you do not need to wait for other people to take your turn because everything is a reaction. It's a food fight. So you decide what food you're throwing and they decide what food they're throwing, but none of it needed a response from the other person to execute the food fight. So food was flying live. If you didn't log in, you didn't duck and set your plans to be hidden, you were going to get hit. It would be epic if Duels was on mobile, since it's so easy to pull out and play whenever. Yes, we do have to talk. We have to think about that. Oh, look at that, Gorkelson. I can't wait to rank AE on BGA. Oh my god, that's great. Well, thank you for that dedication. We will have Andromeda's Edge beta soon. I did talk to the head of BGA at Essen and told them that we were really excited by our developer who's bringing the development team, if they watch these streams, and I don't think they do because they're busy coding for Andromeda's Edge, but if you do watch the stream, the community loves this implementation of Andromeda's Edge, and we're excited because we're going to add the expansion, the more decks, more event decks, new tiles, and eventually Genesis. We're going to have so much fun and get that game. So many options to play Andromeda's Edge online with that game. Thank you for taking your Arc Nova turn. now it's on me probably to do that. Appreciate it. You know what's funny? This is a very common thing. I'm always nervous to play against new people. I feel like I suck and I'm going to embarrass myself. I do understand this one because I was married for some time. I'm no longer married, but my wife said at the time, she said, I don't want to play the game because what if I do something stupid and then one of your board game friends who knows the game makes fun of me? And, there are people, unfortunately, who are in that category, but then there's a ton of people that are not. So I just advise that you find people who are not in that category because it'll help you realize that it's just for fun. And I have had I know how to play Andromeda's Edge, but I still have games where I absolutely suck. I was actually mad because before I went to Essen, I was playing these 2 games of Whisperwood, and I really, really made the wrong moves in Whisperwood, which is a game that's coming. So none of you will know the context of it, but it's a hard game to do well, and there is no shame in having a game that doesn't go. I'm playing Arc Nova right now, and I'm trying the thing, and I don't think it's going to work. And at the end of the day, if I had a fun time playing, that's all that matters. I am guaranteed to do something stupid on my turn, so knowing that ahead of time helps me prepare for the moment emotionally. That's great, Evan. Thank you for sharing that. I need to get a couple games with you. You have some designs. I have to catch up with you and find out what your latest designs are like. Peter and Andy could tell you about a time I totally embarrassed myself playing games on TTS. Well, that one, well, first of all, if you're playing a game that's not released yet, you get a pass because you could say, well, it's the game that the game's clearly not balanced. Yeah. If it happens, the important thing is that you're having fun while you play. I agree 100%. That's what this whole community is for, is just to create that environment. Because I will tell you, there's another anxiety, which is new games. I actually will invite friends over, and like, for example, last night, a lot of times people will be nervous to play a new game because they don't know what to expect. It's an interesting thing I read one time where I was talking about why are board games actually harder for adults to adopt than kids, right? Why is it that the hobby has, it's taken a long time to find entryways to adults? Well, part of it is because kids are not embarrassed to screw up. Kids will play anything and try it and like, okay, that was boring, I'm out. An adult will be, there's a couple of factors where if you get into a game and you don't like it and it's got another hour to go, that's an uncomfortable situation possibly. And so you just avoid playing because you don't want to be in that situation. Again, maybe because you've had games where they didn't teach it right, or they didn't like let you have that outlet, or tell you that it was okay if you didn't like it, we could stop or whatever. But there is this anxiety that adults put on themselves where it's like, I could have an appointment. I might do something stupid. I might, I might not know what to say. So we before we even make ourselves vulnerable, we don't go at all. We don't do the thing. So what I try and do when I'm teaching games or inviting people over is just, I'll never forget Luke Laurie one time was trying to teach dwellings to a bunch of people. And he was at a Proto Spiel event where people could play brand new games. And there was a couple that walked into, it was in a game store. The couple walked in and they had not played a lot of games. They had never played something as deep as Dwellings of Eldervale. And they said, is it hard to learn? And Luke's like, no, it's totally easy. I'm going to be there the whole time and I'm going to take you through it. And at the end, I don't know if that was their first game they ever played, but I wouldn't have been the first game I would have taught someone. But the theme appealed to them, and Luke found a way to make that accessible and show them dwellings, show them the world of dwellings and what was possible. You could cast spells, you could go over here and go to the dungeon and do this, and they really had a fun time. They walked away from that game ready to play some more games. But once you win, it's gonna be memorable. Yes, there's also some. I lost every game of AE. Oh, that's the response to that one. I got you. Okay, we got a question about duels. Just out of curiosity, have the boats landed in the UK yet? I think the last update said it was either this week or next. I can tell you, don't get too excited. Don't interpret this as that they're coming tomorrow, but the boats have landed. I'm very excited by this because sometimes that boat, we've been on boats before to the UK and it has taken its dear sweet time. The boat has landed. We have confirmation that the goods are in. The Eagle has landed. We have the goods in the United Kingdom. Now, what that means is Spiral Galaxy is now on the case. There's going to be emails sent out confirming addresses. They're going to be getting those goods to their warehouse by, I don't know what date that is, but probably by the first week, early second week of November. And then it's game on. It's game on to all of Europe. And that's what we're going to announce on our next update. But you heard it here first. What about the United States? Well, here's the thing about the United States. There are more backers in the United States than anywhere for Flamecraft Duels. And there are multiple containers, all of which are at different delivery times. However, every container, while it is not at its final destination, every container is accounted for in the United States, which means we are getting there for the United States as well. I think we could be talking about the first week of November. I'm boldly saying that that's when we could be shipping. Now, because the US and the United Kingdom and Europe are so many backers, what that means is someone will get it first and someone will get it last. Unfortunately, there is a lot of backers. However, I'm very excited that if we ship out of both UK and US in early November, we are still way ahead. So I'm super, super pumped about this. This is the first game Cardboard Alchemy has ever had of this that's gone like this fast. And knock on wood, there could be still some things. We just found out that none of the pins made it to one of the warehouses in the world, and we have to ship pins suddenly because they were shipped somewhere else. But all sorts of weird things can happen. But it looks like on paper, on the books, it looks like we're going to be smooth sailing, or that all the sailing has occurred. Is basically what it means. Oh, thank you so much. We work really hard on it. There was Andromeda's Edge was supposed to be early too. I can't really get into it. It was a long story about why it wasn't early, but I literally thought we were going to be early, and instead we were 2 months late. We were going to be 2 months early. We were 2 months late. I have been working on time deliveries for the last 12 Kickstarters, so it is no joke. It is very hard to get. They'll never forget I was going to bribe some dock workers to go faster and go to the back of a container because I was like, come on. But people take the time they take, and boats get distracted and lost. There's a boat. We've got another shipment that is hasn't left the port. Why has it not left the port is beyond me, but that's what happens. Well, are there still tariff issues and risks for the United States? Yes, like completely. If anyone in our government is listening, we're not fans of the tariffs. As a small company, let me tell you who's paying the tariffs. It is both us and it is all of our lovely fans and gamers around the world. This small business does not deserve to be taxed. We're doing the best we can to make goods for our people and for our people around the world, and the tariff is a ridiculous idea. It has gone up and down. I believe there was tense negotiations, and it went up the other day. And then I just heard that yesterday it went back down again, but I don't even know the rate. We actually don't know. It's like playing a game of roulette. You have zero idea what you're going to be charged until you get the bill. And it says, by the way, you should pay this now. It's not fun. But games are fun, and so we will go through it for games. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Now, someone's talking about the donations. Tell us about the donated copies. Will you be there when they're delivered? I wish I was going to be there when they're delivered. They're going to be delivered in Indiana, where the Spiel, which is the organization that Stephen Conway runs to share games with hospitals and boys and girls clubs and nursing homes and all these places where people cannot get games or they need a good game. Stephen's running an amazing organization. He gets stuff all over the world. It's not just the United States, but he's in Indiana. And so with the help of all of the backers that donated a copy and the stream that we ran where Cardboard Alchemy donated copies, I don't have the exact number that was on Kickstarter, but I believe it was over 860 copies of Flamecraft Duels being donated to libraries and other places, like we just mentioned, prisons. Actually, he manages to get them into places like prisons because there's a lot of people looking for something to do. And if we can bring any joy to someone's life, I love that Stephen Conway is thinking about that. And his organization also helps designers in other countries that don't have access to some of the same publishing and tools, helps them get connected with publishers. He was just at Spiel. Unfortunately, I missed seeing him there, but he was connecting designers to publishers and manufacturers and making it all happen. So when Stephen gets the copies, I will have to tell him, please take a glorious picture of all those copies for us, because it should be a fun delivery day when all of those copies. Take a road trip. Yeah, we could just get to Indiana. Let's do it. So the donation copy, that was, people were asking that total. Like I said, I think it's over 860. It's pretty amazing. Not only that, but Stephen Conway, you know what he does when he's getting games to other people? He punches all of them. So if a game's got cardboard, he punches it all out and bags it and makes it ready to go, because he doesn't want somebody to have to do that part. And I love that about it. But imagine getting almost 1,000 games and having all that punching work to do. Except Flamecraft Duels has nothing to punch out. Deluxe. Standard has a little something to punch out, but we haven't made that yet. But Deluxe has nothing to punch out. So Steven's got an easy job. It's a pretty awesome delivery. It is relaxing though. And if there wasn't punching cardboard, where would we be with that? Well, the cozy board game transition videos would not exist. So, there is that. It is therapeutic. I agree. Thanks, Addie, as well. It is fun. And, Cardboard Alchemy makes really thick punch board too. It's like really chonky and satisfying, because I've punched Andromeda's Edge recently, and I punched another game and I was like, these are so thin. And it made me appreciate that we spent a lot of, just make sure these punch boards are up to the best quality that we can do. All right. Well, we've had a stream without Rosie, sadly, but she'll be back next week. And we'll be talking about PAX Unplugged. What's going on? By next week, let's see, it'll be, wow. By next week, we could have started US deliveries. I mean, that's how close we are. And we might have even gotten really close addresses locked for UK and Europe deliveries. And Canada deliveries might be done, and China and Hong Kong and Taiwan and Singapore. We got to get a copy to Sundara Tang. Those might also be going by then, which is really exciting. But we'll also be talking about PAX and what we're going to do there in greater detail. And we'll be talking about our yet to be named super sale and pre-order. We'll figure out exactly what we're calling those two things. And yeah, that's all the things going on. We're of course also working on, well, we're working on more games. So we're going to share Whisperwood soon. We have been testing with some people, and working out some mechanisms to the core of the game. And when that gets a little ironed out further, we're going to have games in our Discord where you can try the latest bag builder that we're making. That's a lot of fun. I can't stop thinking about that game, so can't wait to do that. We got a lot of things cooking in November, because we're also, I mean, besides those other things I mentioned, we're moving all of our warehouse, so it's a busy holidays. Thank you for the wish for a Wonderland Halloween. Thank you, I appreciate that. Have a spooky day to those who celebrate. Indeed, if anyone has, like, pets in costumes or kids in costumes you want to share on Discord or whatever, I'd love to see it, because I am not getting out there dressed up. Maybe next year I'm gonna go around as a pigeon or something else. I have been a mad scientist, and there's other fun. I need to maybe someday a flamecraft dragon. But if anyone's going out and wants to share, let me know, or what you play. Let us know what you play, what you decided to play for your spooky time tonight or over the weekend. We'll find out what Rosie played, because we know she's got to be playing games out there. And then we'll catch up next week. So until then, game on, everybody.